Hi, family and friends. Welcome tonight. We are going to do a dinner I haven't made in quite some time, but it sounded really good. I'm going to make chicken and shrimp Alfredo, and it's going to, hopefully I can remember how to do it well enough. So let's get started. Now, I do have some chicken tenders here that I took and I cut up into bite-sized pieces. And also I have rinsed my shrimp, is peeled and deveined and has been rinsed. And so we're going to go ahead and season both of these up. You're going to want to get your skillet ready, and it's going to want to be start out on a medium to medium high. We're going to add just about, start with a tablespoon of oil in our chicken here. That's going to leave a little more. Same for the shrimp. You want to make sure our seasonings are going to stick on there. Okay, so I guess I did 2 tablespoons of oil to start with. You're going to want a little bit in your skillet. Okay, now for seasonings, we are going to want, get to it here. I'm just going to sprinkle some pepper on both. I'm just going to prepare both of the meats, and then we're going to cook them separately, set them to the side, and do our sauce. So we're going to do, let's see, start with a teaspoon and see how that does. Yeah, a teaspoon, actually half a teaspoon of garlic on the chicken, and about half a teaspoon of garlic on the shrimp. And then we want some onion powder, just to stew half a teaspoon on both of those. Okay, and then we're going to want half of a teaspoon of some paprika. Actually, you know what? I think start out with a quarter and see how that does. I'm just going to sprinkle it on there. I think that might actually take a half. So a half on all those. Now for the chicken, I'm actually going to add half of a teaspoon of this chicken bouillon powder as well. A little bit of seasoning salt, just sprinkles, not a lot, just a sprinkle. Okay, and then we want to add in some slap your mama to our chicken and to our fish. Shrimp, sorry. And then we're going to add some Old Bay to both, because it's good on everything. Gives it a great flavor. Okay, now I'm going to take my tongs here, just kind of mix it all around. Get all the flavor mixed in there. You can use your hands. That's probably a better idea. I just washed my hands, so it's the best way to get it all mixed in there. It's just the best kitchen tools is your hands. Just go ahead and get all that mixed in there really well. I'm going to use that hand for chicken and this hand for shrimp. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start my skillet. We're going to start with our chicken. I'm just going to go ahead and dump that in there. We're going to go ahead and get that cooked up. So go ahead and start cooking that. And we'll be back momentarily. I got to wash my hands. Okay, so we're back and our chicken is almost done. And before we put our shrimp in there, I did want to let you know to go ahead and you're going to need a medium chopped onion, and also to go ahead and start some pasta water. Traditionally, it is fettuccine noodles for this dish, but I'm using bow tie pasta. It's just easier for some of us to tolerate. And once you get that, cook that to package directions. Drain it before you drain it. Reserve 1 to 2 cups of the cooking liquid. It's going to help thicken up the sauce when we get to that here in a second. So we're just waiting for our chicken to finish getting done here. We're going to remove this now. I'm going to kind of chop it down a little bit. And I did turn this down to a medium heat. And I did have to add just a little bit more oil because my cast iron likes to stick a little bit. So just keep an eye on yours, obviously. If you don't have a sticking problem, then probably the first amount of oil you put in is going to be fine. Okay, I'm going to check on my pasta water, and we'll be back in just a minute when we're going to remove this and we're going to add the shrimp. So our chicken is done, and we are going to add just a little bit more oil to our pan because I've cooked it all out. And we're going to add in our shrimp. And they're going to want to cook. Usually you want to have them all out on, because if you can get them to lay separate, it's going to take about 1 to 2 minutes per side. Now this is a whole pound. You may not need a whole pound, but we are going to be using some of this. I'm going to hold out some separate from the mill. Same with the chicken. So if you want, you can cut this in half. Now what we're looking for is to get our chicken cooked on both sides, but like I said, it only takes 1 to 2 minutes. If it's closed completely up, we've cooked it too long. We just want it to be a C, like a open C still. See, it's already starting to get cooked on that side there. So we're just gonna let this keep cooking on the sides there. I feel like I may have put too much in here to start with. Put some back in our bowl so I can make room. I have to do this in batches. Okay, so make more room so it can kind of lay, single file on its own. So we will be back in just a moment. Okay, so we got all of our shrimp cooked up. It's all nice and pink, and we're just going to set that to the side, our chickens to the side. We're going to turn our skillet back on to medium to medium-high heat. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter. And then we're also going to add in the medium chopped onion that I had talked about earlier. Kind of a mess tonight, got everything everywhere. Okay, and I also did go ahead and finish cooking my pasta, and I reserved my 1 to 2 cups of broth that we're going to use here in a minute once we get our onion cooked down a little bit, and we're going to add in some minced garlic. We're going to let those cook down and get fragrant, and then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients to make our sauce. Now, if you wanted to, at this point, you could just go ahead and use jarred Alfredo sauce. But we're going to go ahead and make our own Alfredo sauce. So the onions are cooking down nicely and pretty quickly, actually. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and add in about 1 to 2 tablespoons of garlic. One, we're going to do 2. You ever have one of those days where everything ends up on the floor or where it shouldn't? Yeah, that's me today. Okay. This is getting really good. It smells so good. Now this does take a few steps as far as making the meats and doing this and then the sauce and the pasta and everything, but it actually comes together pretty quickly and it's worth it. All right, we're going to give this about another 30 to 45 seconds. And then we're going to add in our broth and our other ingredients. Okay. It's actually cooking quite a bit quicker than I thought that it would. So this is, the onions are getting nice and soft. Very fragrant in here. It smells so good. So we're going to go ahead and add in two cups of milk. And then I'm going to start with a cup of my broth here. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle some of my seasonings on that I had on the meats. I'm not really measuring, I'm just kind of shaking them in there. All the ones that we already used. Pepper. A little more pepper. We love pepper. Salt comes out quick though. I love salt, but it comes out quick. Okay, a little bit of onion powder and garlic powder. So there's the onion. Now, I'm not putting a ton in there, just enough to season up the sauce a little bit, and then it's going to bring it all together when we add our meats and pasta in there. A little bit of paprika. A little bit more slappy mama. Okay, go ahead and give us a good mix. And you want to go ahead and let this thicken up. It's probably going to take a good, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. But just go ahead and let it cook and continue to thicken up for a minute. So we have I let the sauce go by itself for about 5 minutes to thicken up. Then I went ahead and I added just a little bit more of Slap Your Mama, and I did put another teaspoon of the chicken bouillon powder in here as well. And then I did add half a cup of heavy whipping cream to thicken it up a little bit. So then you want to go ahead, and I added my meats back in here, the shrimp and the chicken. And this has been boiling to get, simmering together for probably about 10 minutes now. And it's good and thickened up. So we are going to add this to our pasta. See if I can get this in here. Still got some yummy goodness in there. Gotta get all that out of there, of course. I don't want any of this yummy goodness going to waste. And then just give that a good mix together. And there you have it. Shrimp and chicken Alfredo. And like I said, I used the bow tie pasta. Feel free to use the fettuccine. That is what is traditionally used. And but I do hope you guys get a chance to try this and make it, and I hope you enjoy it. If you're enjoying the channel, please give me a like and a comment and subscribe. I also have a link to buy me a coffee down in the description if you'd like to help support the channel. Any amount helps, $1, $2. It is completely optional, but it is always appreciated. And we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.